My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. I just started a Patreon account, and I'd be honored if you contributed to the Patreon and to this channel and to helping further my voice and advocacy. This is very interesting. It's Donald Trump and the Washington Post. So the Washington Post now not only was wrong about Hillary Clinton winning the election, not only was wrong about Trump potentially destroying the planet, we now have the Washington Post furthering fake news left and right with, what was it, the Russia hack of the power grid that turned out to be nonsense. WikiLeaks exposed that, as did many other people. But this is a headline that you would only get from a tabloid, which is what the Washington Post has become. This brutal poll shows that fewer and fewer people believe Trump's lies. Could you imagine the Washington Post writing this brutal poll shows that fewer and fewer people believe Hillary Clinton's lies, when actually the polls did show that fewer and fewer people believed Hillary Clinton survived Bosnian sniper fire. Hillary Clinton would not engage in regime change. Hillary Clinton would actually oppose the Trans-Pacific Partnership. But I'll read you. The 100-day mark of the Trump presidency is approaching, and his aides are worried that the media narrative will depict his historically awful lack of accomplishments with highly unflattering levels of accuracy. But don't tell that to President Trump. He knows the real problem is that the news won't acknowledge how terrific the start to his presidency has actually been. A new Gallup poll out this morning, however, strongly suggests that an increasing number of Americans just don't believe Trump's spin about his presidency anymore. It finds that only 45% of Americans think Trump keeps his promises, down from 62% in February, an astonishing slide of 17 points. First of all, Trump is the anti-poll politician, the anti-public opinion politician, the anti-media groupthink politician. The media has hated Trump from day one. 538 said he wouldn't even win GOP nomination. Nate Silver didn't even think, with all the math and with all the numbers and with all the brilliance of Nate Silver, he didn't even think that Trump would win the GOP nomination. Think about that. In 2015, I, H.A. Goodman, stated that Hillary not only would lose, but that Bernie Sanders is the only person who could defeat Trump. But I said in 2015 in The Hill that Hillary Clinton would lose to Trump, and I also stated in the Huffington Post and Salon that favorability numbers showed that Hillary was unelectable, and I was right. 538 didn't even talk about favorability numbers of Clinton. And if they did, it was, oh, well, it's not going to really make a dent because Trump is so horrible. Now you have liberal media saying that Trump voters won't vote for Trump. This is how convoluted it's gotten, because they can't pin Trump with Russia. So there's no smoking gun. There's no Russian hacker emails. The NSA is only moderately confident. James Clapper, director of national intelligence, stated there's no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Bernie Sanders did cheat. Hillary Clinton did cheat Bernie Sanders. WikiLeaks, DNC, and Podesta emails showed the corruption within Trump's campaign, and WikiLeaks Vault 7 shows the fact that the CIA can't keep hold of its cyber hacking arsenal. So, that's a side note, but in very important. But in terms of the horrible poll numbers for Trump, let's read up on other predictions or another analysis right before the election. Clinton has solid lead in Electoral College. Trump's winning map is unclear. Nate Cohn, New York Times, November 5th, 2016. These are the same people now, the Washington Post or New York Times, who are looking at poll numbers saying that Trump won't win. I don't want Trump to win again in 2020. I want Tulsi Gabbard, Nina Turner, Bernie Sanders. But if it's not those three, I don't care. I'm not voting for a Democrat. Corporate centrist Democrat, Wall Street neocon Democrat. But the smartest people in the room, the Nate Cohns, the Nate Silvers, the 538s, the Upshot, New York Times, the Washington Post, They're all within their liberal, neoliberal bubble, looking at numbers and making things up as they go, and placing so much emphasis on a public opinion poll or a favorability or a poll on his approval rating, a Gallup poll that has nothing to do with 2020, that has nothing to do with the majority of, if there was another election next month, Trump would win by a landslide, an even bigger landslide than November 8th, because Democrats have nobody. And Trump voters actually, the majority of Trump voters, regardless of what the polls say, will vote for him when it comes down to an election. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening.